So this story is about Nate and I's time in B-Dales this fall. Nate's a senior, I'm a junior, and we decided to go together last year. Mm-hmm. So it was in our first few weeks of being there. We were sort of dazed and confused the whole time. And I remember one day in particular, everyone seemed pretty excited, sort of bubbly. Someone came up to us and they were like, "Are you going to the binge?" And the binge is this party that they do, every once in a while. We were really confused. We were like, okay, what's this? We want to go. And basically we were told that it's this party like deep in the woods with so many people there. And you're like, oh, that sounds fun, right? Like we were these confused foreigners. We got the instructions to, I think it was like meet in front of the design building at like 6 or something. And this design building is, at the edge of campus, at the edge of the woods. And we walked there, and we see this suspicious line of people sort of like going into the woods, right? And we're like, okay, I guess that's where it is, right? So we asked our friends, we saw them going, and we're like, hey, is this where it is? And they were like, yeah, this is where it is. So we entered this really dark forest with our friends, and Nate and I had forgot our phones. So we didn't have Google Maps. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have flashlights. So we were following our friends. And eventually we got to this, sort of pathway, this big like junction in the trail. And there was this just like parade of people going down the middle, like maybe 100 people. Just for context, Putney is a pretty small school, right? B-Dales is not. B-Dales is 500 people. And so it's pretty big. Not everyone went, but a lot of people to me, Nate and I. It seemed like a lot of people. We joined this parade, and everyone's sort of on edge because it's suspected that teachers might bust the party, right? Yeah. In the middle of the woods. Teachers are known there for pulling out huge, flashlights, security flashlights, and chasing down. There are people on edge about that. Mm-hmm. Nate and I don't know what's up with that. We haven't been in that culture, so we're just like, oh, why is everyone on edge, right? Yeah. And we get to this spot and everyone's having a great time, right? Mm-hmm. And there's barbed wire all around us on all sides. And we're like, this is not a great spot, right? If we're running, this is going to be like the worst spot to like have this party. Mm-hmm. And so Nate and I, are completely sober. Mm-hmm. Not many other people are. We're at this clearing, everyone's there. And suddenly all these floodlights hit on us. And all of us, so there's this barbed wire fence. All of us push over this barbed wire fence and we just start running into the forest. Nate and I don't have flashlights. We don't have Google Maps. We don't know where the hell we are. And everyone else does, but they are in the best state of mind, right? So we have to like hold on to the jackets of the people, just so that we don't lose them. There are all these prickers in the woods. We eventually get away from, people who are chasing us. And we're running through the woods. I lose Nate and I'm with this group of 5 people. I don't know where Nate is at all. Mm-hmm. I'm scared out of my mind. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, I'm following this group of people and they're like, yeah, okay, we know a way back to campus. And, all through this, you have to remember that B-Dales, just for context, has a really strict check-in. It's 8:30 and we have to be there by 9. So we're under a timer. I don't know where I am. I have no light. I have to get back by 9, and I am the only sober person in that group. We take a really, really complicated route. We're going through the woods. It's a really hilly place. We're just going back and forth. We have some close calls, and then one of them says, yeah, get down. We see someone. And we see a floodlight in the distance, so we all get down. We're on the ground, right? Sort of muddy, but I don't care. I don't want to get in trouble. The floodlight gets closer and closer, and we're dead quiet on the ground. We hear the crunch, crunch, crunch of the person with the floodlight, and then maybe 20 feet to my left, someone's phone goes off. We're in the middle of the woods. This, teachers caught us. It's over. And then as the person gets closer and closer, I realize that it's just a student. And they're picking up their Find My iPhone. We were completely saved. We were like, yes, we got it. We're successful. But we weren't back yet, right? We were still in the middle of the woods. And it was like 8:55 when we finally emerged from the forest. And I think that night it was like a British tradition, right? It was like a British holiday or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there were fireworks going off on campus. It was like a show. I remember really clearly the song The Final Countdown was playing. And Nate and I just looked at each other and were like, yes! And we hugged and we finally got back, even though we were completely covered in mud.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story of two dazed foreigners who had no idea what they were doing, but somehow got out.